Understanding the psychology of childbirth for women and men.
Good evening. My name is Oluwatosin Olajumoke. I'm the creative director of Ada Creations, a publishing, design, and brand development company. Sorry, we came live earlier, but we had some technical issues, and we hope that the technical issues are sorted now. So thank you for staying tuned and not quitting on us. We hope to have our viewers back in order to join this show because it's going to be explosive, and we want you to be here to join us in the discussion through your comments. So today, without wasting much of our time, we have to be time conscious because we've lost 30 minutes already. We're going to be having on a guest today named Debbie Adara. And our topic for today's discussion on today's Woman's Discovery Talk Show is understanding the psychology of childbirth for women and men. And let me read the bio of our guest shortly before we start the show. Debbie Adara is an internationally educated registered nurse with about 15 years of experience in clinical nursing, academics, research, and advocacy. She's also a public health educator who has featured in several health programs across media outfits and a trained public speaker who is passionate about health, relationships, parenting, social justice, and national development. She's a wife and a mother to 3 amazing children. What a powerful bio. So I'm going to be bringing her on now so that we can start the show shortly without wasting much of our time. Hello, Pastor Vera. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you for staying tuned, ma. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. So let us welcome our guests on the show. Good evening, Sister Debbie, or good afternoon, whatever it is. Sorry for the technical issue earlier. It happens like that at times. So yeah. So without wasting much of our time, can you tell us a brief description? Give us a brief description about yourself, despite the fact that I've read your bio, so that our viewers can hear from the horse's mouth. So over to you, Sister Debbie.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Very clear. You're very, very clear now.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And like you said, I'm Debbie Adara, and I'm a Christian. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm a wife to a supportive husband and a mother to 3 amazing children. My core values are dedication, service to others, compassion, empathy, and building friendships. Those are my core values. And I am very privileged to be brought up by parents who are Christians, who are amazing people, who taught me a lot about society, about fairness. I was brought up in a home where there was equality. There was no form of, raising one person above the other, irrespective of your age or your gender or whatever. So, I am grateful for the kind of upbringing that I enjoyed from my parents. They taught us a lot about building self-esteem, about connecting with people and all of that. I have to say that I've enjoyed so much of that in my life, and I'm grateful.
Oh, that's awesome. Wonderful parents. I'm always excited when I hear of parents who raise people in our generation or people even that are ahead of our generation, who raise them with so much values and so much, most especially the women, raising them with the belief that no gender is superior to the other. When I hear that, I'm always extremely elated that parents of that generation can actually, you understand, that they can actually raise children that believes in equality. Considering the fact that nowadays we have to fight for equality, we have to talk about it, we have to educate the public. So kudos to your parents. I give them kudos. So let's just go straight to the point without wasting much of our time. Thank you, viewers. If you're just joining us, this is today's Woman's Discovery Talk Show, and our topic today is understanding the psychology of childbirth for women and men. On the show with me today is Sister Debbie Adara, a registered nurse, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things concerning the psychology of childbirth for women and men. So let's go straight to the point, sis. You said some things about your family when you made your introduction. So, can we get a sneak peek? How many children do you have? And can you tell us about your experience when you had your first child?
I have 3 kids. I'm blessed to parent 3 kids, biological children. And my first was the least difficult. I don't want to call it the easiest because there's nothing easy about the
Okay.
childbirth experience. Yes,
Mm,
it was the least difficult of all three. And I don't know how. It was just, I just added, less difficult than the others. And the pregnancy period, I wasn't working. So it probably must have contributed to, you know, not having so much stress, not passing through
okay.
much stress. I
Okay.
resigned my former job to join my husband in another city. So by the
Okay.
time I got pregnant, I had not gotten a new job. I
Mm,
got a job while I was about 8 months pregnant with my
wow.
first child. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yes. So
Wow. 8 months?
eight
Eight
months.
months. Wow. How did they? Where was that?
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry.
It was a
No,
it was a government job with a teaching hospital. And
hospital.
yeah,
Wow.
and people, like, you are surprised. Everybody was surprised.
Yeah.
They interviewed about 200 people, and I was number one on the list. And they
Oh
saw
my
that I was
God.
pregnant. Yes.
OMG.
So
Ah,
I still got the job, and I got a good placement. Right from the interview,
mhm.
the director said exactly where he wanted me to be posted.
Okay.
And we had never met before, so he didn't know me or anything like that. It was
Okay.
just, from the interview that she did all of that.
Okay.
So I worked for a few weeks, about 3 weeks, and
Okay.
I fell into labor while at work. So
Ooh.
yeah, and the
Ooh.
good thing is that I had most of my things in my car, so I was
Okay.
able to go straight to the labor ward and got admitted. Um, Unfortunately, my husband was out of town because my
Mm,
due date was still 2 weeks away, and he had to work, so he
okay.
traveled for work just for 2 days, and it was in that space of time that I gave
Mm,
birth to my first child.
first child
The good thing is that my mom was there for me. We lived in the same city at that time,
at
and
that time.
she was available, and she was able to help me through the
Help
situation.
you. Wow, that's impressive. Was that in Nigeria, sis? I just
Yes,
wanted
it was in
to
Nigeria.
clarify.
Yes,
So we
it
had
was in Nigeria.
and the person that interviewed you didn't know you were pregnant or something. Yeah, the person has never met you before.
She never met me before. She saw that I was pregnant, but she still
Wow.
was
Oh,
impressed
that's
with my,
awesome. That's
yes.
impressive. That means she didn't look at your physical situation. She saw what you were bringing to the table. She saw the
Yes.
value you were bringing to the table. That's awesome and very impressive. And I'm extremely impressed. Like, when I had my first child, like, let me just chip in some things. It was extremely strange to me. Nobody told me issues right there. Okay, I'm back. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, that was a little interruption right there. So, when I had my first baby, I it was very, very strange. And I remember that I didn't expect the kind of pain that I had to go through while I was, delivering the baby. And if not for the fact that my husband was there and my mother-in-law, they were with me right in the labor delivery room, as I was, trying to bring out this baby, they were there praying and speaking in tongues. And I
Oh
had
yeah.
this, you understand, I had this
Yeah.
security that, okay, this thing is not going to kill me because I had people around that were standing in gap, and they were
For you.
acting as very supportive. So I could
Yeah.
muster that energy in order to do what I was supposed to do, because I
Yes.
knew that I had people that were standing staunchly around me and that were holding forth in order for me to be able to bring forth. So I just wanted to bring out that point in
Very
what we just.
important.
Yes. So let's go to the next question, number 3 question. An issue trended last week on the social media.
Oh
I
yeah.
actually, I actually wanted to bring the screenshots, but I said, okay, let's just leave it. Let's just talk about it. We don't need to use the screenshot. So, an issue trended last week on social media about a man who went to eat isiewu. Is it isiewu or isiewu? My Igbo people, if you're watching, please just don't mind me. Isiewu or isiewu. We went to eat isiewu, and when his wife was about to deliver their baby, this triggered many of us women on the social media, and a lot of women spoke against it. They wrote against it vehemently,
Yeah.
and it created an outrage. Like, how can a man's wife be in the delivery room, and the next thing he could think of was to be at a bar, probably at a bar, to go eat isiwu. A lot of arguments came up. Some people were like, okay, maybe he was on his way home to get their clothes or whatever it is. But if you're actually on the way home to get your clothes, you would your wife's clothes or whatever it is, you wouldn't even ask how is the issue, as in how is that issue supposed, how is it supposed to taste at that particular time when you actually know that someone is between life and death. I think we need to vocalize these things as women. Child delivery, maybe the men don't understand, is actually a step between life and death. A lot of women have lost their lives when they were trying to give birth to a baby. So the woman at that point is not in her right senses. So she needs people around. People have to show empathy. I'm happy that you said that one of your core values is empathy. So I don't understand the kind of arguments that people are raising concerning the man's action. I don't want to judge him, but to me, that wasn't empathetic. If he saw that this is our child. If you hear people talk in the Western countries, a man and a woman when they're having a baby, if the man is going to tell someone, he would say, "We are having a baby."
Exactly.
Initially, it was always funny to me, like, we are pregnant. This sounds odd. But after living here for a while, I got used to it, like, okay, we are pregnant. This is our baby. That is a form of connection in order to be involved from day one in this thing called, childbirth. So let me go back to the question. So what do you think about this, sis, about this issue that trended? Because I remember that I saw that screenshot on your wall and I followed the argument, and this was what birthed this particular topic on this talk show today. So can I hear your views, sis? Over to you, please.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being in touch with what is going on in the society. And that's actually one of the best ways to add value to people. When you're able to bring in issues from, trending issues from the society, and you want to hear what people's opinions are saying, then you know that, we have a big problem that we need to address. And thank you for doing this. First of all, healthy relationship must be respectful and supportive. That man's actions were not respectful of his wife. They were not supportive of his wife. If a woman needs help, there is no time that a woman needs support more than during labor. It will probably be one of the most difficult periods of a woman's life. I can't imagine. That's the word. And when people talk about judging, you are not judging him, you're judging his actions. So if we talk about when somebody does something bad and we say, don't talk about it, don't judge, we are judging the person's actions because those actions are not befitting of our society. That is not how we grow. That is not how we build a society that is befitting, that is humane. That's the word I want to use. So we can judge people's actions. That doesn't mean that we are throwing the baby along with the bathing water. That only means that we are telling people you can do better. You can do next time. Do not do this. This is what your actions depict. This is what you should do. So the judging people is totally out of it. We are not judging him. We are judging his action. And we are saying that, what his wife went through could damage her emotionally because she's not talking about it, or because she's not raising any dust about it, does not mean that she's cool with it. Does not mean that it is.
Hello, sis, can I chip something in? When I read that screenshot, the wife said, "Come and carry your baby." That's a lot.
It is.
That particular sentence has a lot of meaning embedded inside it.
It does.
If we begin to translate that sentence, we will not finish this program today. Come and carry your baby. That says a lot about the kind of relationship that we have.
I was only an incubator. I birthed the baby for you.
Exactly. Come and carry your baby. You will know that's how it is. Those are your ways. You've gone again. So come and carry your baby.
Yeah.
So go on, sis. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm not done. I've what that man wrote, the confidence with which he wrote it shows something about our society, that he thinks it is normal. And that's where the problem is. He thinks, because he wrote it like a testimony. That was why I put it on my wall. Like, you're sharing a testimony in church. Like, this is how the story went, and you are confident, and you believe that, exactly, you did the right thing. You are so, all of that. And that means that we have a problem. And in my practice, in my work experience, I've faced so many of such circumstances. I remember one vividly when I was preparing for this program, sometimes in, I think, 2010 or thereabout, I had this patient in labor, and the patient was on bed. The labor was progressing normally until I saw that she was trying to bear down and she was grunting so much. So I decided to check her. When I checked her and I put my finger in, I saw that she had a cord prolapse. Cord is, the umbilical cord. It shouldn't come first. It shouldn't come before the baby. When it comes first, it's an emergency. It shows that the life of the baby is at risk, because the presenting part, which is the head, would rest on that cord and cut off oxygen supply from that baby. And when I saw that, I just called out to the other workers. I told them what was going on, because that woman had to be in surgery as soon as possible. Else we're going to. We went out to call the husband, because we know a lot of preparations that goes into having a cesarean section in Nigeria. You need the lot of running around for laboratory investigations, for pharmacy, get the CS pack and all of that. So we called out the husband. He was nowhere to be found. No support system. The husband was gone. We asked him, where's your husband? She said she doesn't know. We picked up the phone to call him. The number was switched off. It was totally up to us. We had a team of amazing health workers who were completely dedicated. That day was a big deal for me. I keep remembering it. I had my hand stuck in a vagina, because I had to be pushing, the cord away from the presenting part. And the other workers, a doctor ran off to the pharmacy to get the back on credit. Another took a blood sample to go to the laboratory to get blood ready. We know how it is in a government hospital. To do all of that, we had to abandon the other patients. I have to be. There was no other way we could do it. And we had to get that woman to the theater. My hand was still there till we got to the theater.
There. Oh my God.
And the husband came back about 4 or 5 hours later, drunk, smelling alcohol, not aware of what the wife just went through, the valley of the shadow of death, the wife and the baby. And, what kind of explanation are we going to give? And unfortunately, the woman was from a low socioeconomic status, so she didn't even have money, no baby, not much baby things. So we had to gather all of that to make it happen. And when that woman on my wall was saying, when we're talking that anything can happen, so that a man must be there, good support system must be there for the woman. When she was saying on my wall that if anything goes wrong, the doctors and the nurses are there. And like, she doesn't really knows what goes on. She doesn't understand how it is in the Nigerian healthcare system. The number of staff and to the number of patients that we have and all that we have to do to save lives. And that's why Nigeria has the 4th highest mortality, maternal mortality in the world. And we are not doing well. That is the truth. That means that if your wife is pregnant, anything can happen. It can.
Anything can happen.
It's not the time for it. You don't need anybody to preach that to you. That is not. It's time to pray, because because you are praying, not because the doctors don't know what they are doing. You are praying not just because the nurses don't know what they are doing. You are praying because you are in a system where anything can go wrong. And we don't have the capacity, we don't have the facilities to handle many cases. So you need to pray and ask God for help, and keep telling your woman, I'm here for you. Even though I may not be allowed in, I can hear your voice. I am praying for you. I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm here. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
Exactly. So that's a lot.
I condemn totally his actions. And you won't find a woman do that. You won't find that lady's mother go eat.
No way. She's going to be there. She's going to be there waiting. You understand? So
even the friend will be there. Yeah.
Exactly. thank you very much, sis, for talking about this about Nigeria. I'm really impressed at what you people did for that woman. You know, that means we have good doctors, empathetic doctors and nurses in Nigeria. It's not, everything is not that bad.
Yeah.
We can blame some of the lapses on maybe because we have a government that doesn't provide enough amenities and all that. So that's very impressive that actually happened in Nigeria. Sister Yetunde, welcome on board. It's God that she said, let me paste what Sister Yetunde wrote. Sister Yetunde said that it's God that helps us when we are giving birth in Nigeria. I know, it's really, really touching. You know, it's sad, it's sad. There's something I want to say now, but I wouldn't talk about it. But I know it's really a sad thing the way women are treated in Nigeria. It's really, really bad. So and I want to say something. You know, you said something, Sister Debbie, that the woman, when the woman's husband came, he was drunk.
Yeah.
He was drunk. Ladies, if as you are watching this program, please be very intentional with the kinds of men you choose to marry. See, you need to be intentional. These are the things I tell the women that I mentor in my women group. You need to be very intentional. You don't want to marry a man who has gone to drink when you're actually between in a life and death. And it's not even about giving birth alone. In every situation that is supposed to be hands on ground, you won't find him. He's not responsible. He doesn't see you as a team. He sees this that's your burden. There was one time that a man told me that, what am I telling him about his wife? I was telling him to pay attention to his wife and to treat her very well. He said, I told him after all, she's pregnant. You know what he said? He said, pregnancy is the woman's duty. That's one of his headache. That I shouldn't use that. I shouldn't use that to blackmail him. Stop getting married to men that are wicked, that are dark-hearted. You need to be intentional about your life.
Yeah.
If you are marrying a man that is humane, then understand that one part of your problem in marriage has been removed, because a lot of challenges are still going to come. So before we delve deeper into other aspects, let's go back to the next question. If you're just joining us, welcome on board. Thank you, Sister Yetunde, Pastor Vera, who is under the other creation's name. Thank you. Okay, that's Amarachi. Thank you very much, our moderator. This is today's Woman Discovery talk show, and our topic today is understanding the psychology of childbirth for women and men. On today's show is a guest named Debbie Adara, and she's going to be taking us deeper into these issues as we go on. So please go along with us, share your comments, and let us, let's make it exciting and interesting. If you have any question, put it in the comment section. I'll put it on the screen so that we can address it. So question number 4 is, can you tell us what the culture is in other countries? If you are privy to this, when a couple are expecting a baby, from antenatal to delivery and postnatal visits, what is expected from men? Let me use myself as an example before I will come over to you. I remember that when we got pregnant with our first baby, your husband is expected to come along with you to the hospital right from when you even get that result that we are pregnant, right? From after that result, then is expected to come along with you on each of your antenatal visits. And at the place of work, there's usually sick leave, there is childcare leave. So there's nobody that's going to question or query him if he follows you for your antenatal visit, because they believe that you are both having the child together. So at every of my visits, I remember that my husband was always there with me. The few times he couldn't make it as a result of job, he was on a trip, he had to go out of town. I saw the look on the doctor's face, like, why is your husband not here? Wow. As in, they make these men, that was in Germany. I remember that was in Germany. We were living in Germany. They make the men sit up. That's part of the culture. You're going to be involved right from when your wife brings that result to you that she's pregnant. You are expected to be involved. Nobody is going to question you. Your boss is going to understand. They're going to be on the same page with you, because they know that you are actually expecting a baby, and both you and your wife are in it together. So over to you, Sister Debbie. Please, can you give us your own, view about this particular?
Honestly, you have said the ideal first. What else do you want me to say?
Because that is in Germany. Maybe you have other opinions from other countries that you'd like to share with us. Perhaps let's assume that is okay. That is peculiar to Germany.
Yeah. So, like you said, you are the lucky ones. I put it that way. You you don't want to imagine what it is like to go through pregnancy in Nigeria and comparing it with other parts of the world. It's very daunting. It's like, the gap is extremely wide. And in Nigeria, many people don't even get registered for antenatal care.
Oh
We are
my
still
God.
battling with people, asking people to register for antenatal care. Now, even if the woman does not love her life that much to register for antenatal care, is it the husband that will now follow her? You need to love yourself first. That's the first step. And say, okay, I need this care and all of that. So it's a wide gap. In Nigeria, most people don't register for antenatal care until 5-6 months. In other parts of the world, Germany, the US, Canada, UK, immediately you get your pregnancy test and it is positive. In fact, that is not where it begins. In other parts of the world, there's something called prenatal education, which we don't have in Nigeria. Prenatal education is so integral, and about having a reproductive life plan. How many children do you want to have? When do you want to have these children? How does having children fit into my own life plan? Do I want to have children at all? We don't get to ask those questions in our society. It is expected that you are not a woman if you don't have children. That is the label, and nobody is expected to shift it. You are expected to, in prenatal education, you consider your medical health, your medical issues, your health, your general health. Oh, do I have diabetes? Do I have hypertension? Do I have peptic ulcer? How does this translate into being pregnant with them? What are the likely complications or the risk involved with getting pregnant with this kind of condition? Oh, I'm a sickle cell patient. In Nigeria, nobody really bothers about your health condition. They just wanted to have a child. They are just worried about you not having a child and why you are not having a child and why you shouldn't have a child. Whatever your excuse is, they don't really want to care.
Nobody cares.
They don't care, And in Nigeria, you're supposed to be concerned about the healthcare system and your own peculiar issues. Okay, if I'm a sickle cell patient and I get pregnant, is there any facility around that can manage me effectively to be able to, have a healthy baby and also come out alive, from the situation? All of that is supposed to come into prenatal education. What do I want to achieve with my state of health before pregnancy? Do I want to lose weight? Do I want to get my blood sugar under control, my blood pressure under control? All of that is supposed to be put in place. Do I have the financial capacity? Now look at women who keep giving birth in Nigeria. We keep contributing money for them. We keep sending money for them to be able to register for ordinary antenatal classes. We keep asking ourselves, should these women be giving birth? They do not have the financial capacity. Their spouses do not have the financial capacity, but they think that they must have children, irrespective of all of that. So the issue starts from prenatal education. We do not have adequate prenatal education in Nigeria. Nobody, makes it mandatory in marital counseling that you must have prenatal education. What is your plan for childbirth? Do you even consider your mental health? Do you ask yourself, am I wired for parenting? Am I ready for parenting? Have I healed from my own childhood traumas such that I don't damage another human being just because I want to be a parent? Those are the questions that will come up in prenatal education, which we do not have.
This is wonderful.
That is just. There is also something called genetic counseling that you have in Germany, you have in the US, you have in Canada. We do not have genetic counseling in Nigeria. Genetic counseling just says, okay, what are the history in your family of albinism, of different congenital abnormalities, of Down syndrome? What are your risks of having this kind of children? We want to do genetic counseling. We want to look at your age and the risk factors, and and so that we can reduce the incidence of disability in our society. These countries are very intentional about all of this. Nigeria, we've not started all of that. So when you talk about the differences in antenatal care in Nigeria and in other parts of the world, I'll say that the first thing is that the kind of health care that people have access to in Nigeria is widely different according to your socioeconomic status. Now, I know friends who have access to the best hospitals in Nigeria, and a majority of people just have access to basic healthcare centers where they cannot carry out blood transfusion. where it's likely that there's no oxygen.
Hmm.
So, you cannot use the criteria, or you cannot use those people who have access to those high level of healthcare system to compare with people with the lowest and the lowest.
Hmm. 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 This is educative. This prenatal thing, like, okay, go on. Please go on. Go
Yeah.
on.
So for Nigeria, for many people, for most people, what they just have access to is the basic. The basic means that you come to antenatal care once every 6 weeks or 2 months, and they check, you do one scan throughout the pregnancy, and you come for they do some basic blood work, and you come for delivery. That's it.
That's it. Oh,
That's what
super.
most people have access to. There are people who have access to the high level of care. They are quite infinitesimal. When you look at the percentage of women in Nigeria who are giving
Nigeria.
birth. Yes. Compared to the other parts of the world, that whoever you are, irrespective of your socioeconomic status, you have a minimal level of healthcare that you are entitled to.
True.
And that minimum is adequate.
Adequate. I
The
remember.
excess, okay, go ahead, please.
I remember that before I got married, I used to have this fear of childbirth. I don't know what they call it, phobia. But
Yeah.
as God would have it, I got married, I moved to Germany. When I saw how the system was, there was this peace that just came into my heart. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't lose my life. I wouldn't lose my life giving birth here. That was a lot of, that's a lot, that gave me a lot of peace, and it really calmed me down. Like, my mental health towards childbirth was redeemed, as it was in good shape, because I knew that I was in a system where the healthcare was super, and that there was nothing that was going to go wrong, because the mortality rate was even as a mortality death rate was not existent. So I can imagine what women are going through in Nigeria. Sister Yetunde said that. Sister Yetunde Oyemi Adekola said that. I have been through CS twice, and I can tell you it's just God that saw me through. Can you imagine? Women have to live in so much fear. Even the fear of death alone can even increase your blood pressure while pregnant.
I can tell you this. When I was pregnant, if you, I'll call you a layman because you are not in the healthcare system, can be afraid, you would expect that someone like me would not be afraid, right? I was terribly afraid because of the things that I saw in the workplace, because of the cases that I saw. I was terribly, terribly afraid. My first was not so bad. I had the fear even before I got married while working in obstetrics and gynecology. I remember working with a particular ONG consultant, and we were talking one day. We had a very good relationship. So I was talking one day, and we were attending to a woman in labor, and I said, Dr. Oshi, I usually call him that. I say, I'm scared. He said, what? He said, I don't think I'm going to go through this and survive it. And he looked at me and said, you won't die. Your mother did not die. You won't die too. He's not a Christian. He's not a pastor. He's not anything like that. But his word, I held on to that word somehow. Because what I was saying in the environment, even where we both worked was a top class hospital in Nigeria. I still had that fear because what we were getting was still not adequate. I still saw cases that went terrible. I was scared for myself. When I had my third child, I was trying to share the little story, a sneak peek into it with my post. By that time, I'd worked for about 10 years before I had my third child. And the things that I was seeing around me, I decided that, oh my God, am I going to survive this? I was scared. And my fear was it had I had a good reason to be afraid because of the things I was saying. And I had a terrible experience. If I had gone to the hospital, if I had been in the hospital where I was supposed to be for that delivery, I can't tell you what the end would have been. I had to go to another hospital with a trusted doctor, a trusted specialist. And I still almost lost my life. My baby almost lost her life.
Oh my God.
I almost had a uterine rupture. And the doctor had to give me like 15 pints of normal saline. That's it.
What's that? What's normal?
Normal saline is it's a kind of drip. Sorry.
Okay, because you're speaking the medical term now, I'm lost.
It's a kind of drip. What it was trying to do was trying to control the contractions, because the contractions were non-stop. I was contracting non-stop such that my uterus could just give way. And if my uterus gives way, That's it. The mother and the baby and anything can, it would be difficult to save both of
Go
us.
wrong.
Go
Oh
wrong.
my God.
And my baby still came out of that experience with, I was trying to explain to you that it was a very, very traumatic experience for
Experience.
yeah. So I had my 3 kids in Nigeria. That's why I'm saying all of that. If it's not likely that things would have turned out the way it did if I had them in other parts of the world,
Wow.
especially the third experience. So you are right to say that the gap is so wide. Even I tell people that even if your village people followed you from Nigeria to other parts of the
I'm
world,
telling you.
they
I'm
will get
telling
to
you.
the door of the hospital and go back
And go back.
by the reason of
Because
the facility that is available.
facility that is available. Exactly. I remember when I was having my first child, and the baby was not coming. He had already descended, and I didn't understand how to push. I didn't understand. My body was not, so doctors were just running all about. My husband and my mother-in-law, they were there praying, speaking in tongues. The doctors were coming. The midwives were there. They brought out their machine. When I saw that machine, I was like, when you're grunting in labor and through the corner of your eyes, you can see a gadget that is checking something. I said, okay, I'm in safe hands. I'm not going to die. I'm not, you understand? So I can imagine the kind of person I am that gets really, things like that scares me. If I was in Nigeria and something like that had happened to me, I don't understand what the situation would have been. But we thank God, and we're using this opportunity. We're still going to say this at the end of the show. We're using this opportunity to plead to our government to make life easier for women. Just imagine a woman is here now sharing her experiences. Like yesterday, she said she had 2 CS and she almost lost her life in the process. Then she said something. You said something earlier that the society in Nigeria don't care if you are not even, if your body is not ready, your body is not how do I put it now? Suitable to have children.
Vaginal
Genetic counseling. You said something about genetic counseling. They don't care. They begin to give you these dark labels like, oh, she's a man. The husband has a man in the house. She's not fertile. She's not capable. She's not a woman. They will start saying all sorts of things in order to label the woman because of the way we view the woman in our society. All this has to stop. As a society, we have to stop all this culture that endangers the lives of women. We have to stop endangering the lives of women and to see them as a human being first that has a right to live. Even women that are not even, there's some women because they're looking for male children, they keep giving birth, and you see them crying. I'd seen something like that before when I was younger. I'd gone to the hospital to my auntie had just given birth to a baby, and there was this woman beside her bed that was crying because she gave birth to a baby girl. As little as I was there, I didn't understand why she was crying. Like, why are you crying? Because the husband didn't even come to visit her because she gave birth to a baby girl. You understand? We don't have many homes in Nigeria. I don't want to say men now, but I realize that in many marriages, there is nothing like team spirit. Even it's not even in Nigeria alone. We see some of them around here in the West. Some of these men, they bring this mentality on that until the woman grows wings and she begins to tell them that, oh, this is a different environment. But naturally, you see them bringing that same cultural this thing. As in, you understand?
Because it favors them when you are when you are at the benefiting end of something. You don't want that thing to end.
And you understand? We see all of them on social media, the way they fight, and when you talk, they quickly label you and tag you as a witch, as a feminist that is bitter. You cannot keep a home. It's for your own good. If you use your youth and you maltreat your parent, your family, you maltreat your wife, you maltreat your children at your old age, what's going to become of you? Women know how to survive old age better. I think these men don't understand. We survive old age easily compared to the men. So it is what you sow now that you will reap in future. Okay, Matomika is saying that apart from not caring, many don't know. Yes, ma. Many don't also understand when it comes to the psychology of childbirth and the role that they are supposed to play as men. Society does not even help them. Once a man is, supportive of his wife, they begin to say stuff like, she has charmed him, human rapper. So because these men want to maintain that ego and that male, male this thing, they begin to, treat their wife anyhow in order to please the society. So that is why we are having this program in order to educate. Childbirth is not a joke. It's a thing that you need to be fully present as a man. You need to also write your own story in the journey of your family by connecting with your wife from the first time you know that she's pregnant.
Yes.
The connection that you need to build. You don't need to separate yourself. Be a team. That is why the Bible says that, and the two shall become one. You are a team. It's your baby, and you need to be present fully.
Yes.
Don't listen to this society. They're not going to be there for you in your old age when you begin to reap the fruits of your labor. They won't be there. So let's go to the next question. Okay.
You talked about the role of men in your last question. I'm not sure I've been able to, talk about it very well. The last segment of your last question.
Let me see. Okay, yes. What is expected from the men?
Exactly.
In order this thing. Yeah.
I want us to hammer on it because we are talking that many don't care because they don't know.
No.
Even though ignorance is not really an excuse, the question will always be, do you want to know? If you know, are you willing to do? Or are you just willing to stay with culture because it benefits you and being like a lackadaisical is allowed? So let us make them know so that the excuse of ignorance can be taken out of it.
Okay. I think, sorry, Sister Debbie, I think what she meant was that they don't update medical teams with training. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Sister Yetunde said that when I had my second baby, I already noticed I was running out of oxygen before the anesthesiologist noticed, or even the machine picked it up. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Let's go on, please. Let's go to the next question, please. These are scary. Like I'm really, really afraid at what women have to deal with. Imagine being at the point of at that kind of situation, trying to bring out a new life. You're supposed to relax. Just know that you are in good hands, but you're afraid for your life because of what you can see around you. In the last question that I asked, you said something, even as a medical person, you were also afraid for your life because of one of the things you were saying around. It's not supposed to be so. This is not supposed to be so. Our government needs to do something about this in order to, women have to be, as in, your mind has to be at peace. You need to be rest assured that, okay, I'm in good hands and I'm going to come out of this alive. Not having nurturing the fear that, anything can go wrong. You're not supposed to even think about that at all. So let's go to the next question, sis. Is it appropriate to not allow men into the delivery room in Nigeria?
Thank you for the question.
Yes, let me go. Why could this be, sis? Because I know that you practiced in Nigeria as a nurse, so you'll be able to enlighten us. Because I don't understand why a woman will be delivering a child in the delivery room and the husband will be peeping through the window. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. Could it be that we are not developed enough, or Nigerian nurses and doctors are not medically prepared and emotionally ready to handle any kind of drama in the delivery room? Because I know that if you're going to give birth to a child here in the West, the husband comes into the delivery room with the wife. The only situation where he's not allowed to come in is if you have a toddler and there's not going to be anyone to mind that toddler. I remember when I was having my second baby, there was no one around to help us to mind our baby, our toddler. So they had to tell my husband to leave. So it was practically just me alone with the midwife. He had to leave to take care of our baby. But the first child, he was fully present. So I understand that scenario. But this Nigerian system where men have to be peeping through the window, to please enlighten us as a nurse. Why is this so?
I think that it's not that the doctors and the nurses don't want it. In fact, they want it because it will make their job much easier. Because when there is support system for the woman, it helps a lot for that woman to go through that experience and to be more cooperative. Because when you are there, your husband is talking to you. Can you push? Yeah. I'm here for you, and all of that. You gather strength from that. Yeah. You gather a lot of moral strength and all of that to be able to do what you're supposed to do. So the doctors and the nurses, we want it. But the question will be, can the structure allow it? Now, many hospital buildings in Nigeria are archaic such that, yes, an obstetric ward is built as an open ward where there are only females. And you know how women behave when we are in labor because of the pain. We dress minimally because we need to be examined frequently. So when we are in pain, most people just throw the minimal clothing away. And it would not be appropriate for other men another person's husband to be looking at the nakedness of another person's wife. So that is the major limitation why we
Okay.
don't allow people in. Now, there are hospitals that have, that are more developed, that have built better structures that are suitable for women in labor, such that they have cubicles and they have privacy. In such
Okay.
places, yeah, because I also worked in different places where they have such. You have a
Okay.
private room, you have a private cubicle, so your support system can stay with you. But it is important for the health workers to protect the privacy of other patients. They have a duty to protect their privacy. And that is
Okay.
the major reason why men are not allowed into the labor room. But that is
Okay.
why as a man, you need to get involved from antenatal care. Ask the question, what is the possibility of me being there with my wife? Look at the environment and ask the doctor directly. I would like to be there. Show the interest and see if they can arrange something for you. Even in those places where there seems to be just open wards, sometimes they have private rooms. Can I pay for it? What if I
Okay.
if I pay for it, would I be allowed to stay? Yes, you'll be allowed to stay. Usually that is just a factor. The privacy of other patients. That's usually the main factor that,
Main
that, that
factor.
prevents, that prevents men from staying.
Thank you so much for educating us on that particular question. Our listeners, please, as you're watching us, the reason why men are not allowed into the labor room is because of the structure. There is no rules that have stopped men from being allowed.
No.
If you show your interest, like
Yes.
Sister Debbie just said, ask questions. Are there private rooms? I want to be involved. I want to see my wife when she's bringing out when the baby is coming out. I want to be able to encourage her, to rub her back, to say soothing words that can encourage her, that can lift her spirit. Sometimes seeing the man, I remember when I was having our first baby, just seeing the presence of my husband alone. There was a time that I needed to hold on to someone to push the baby. If you see the way I grabbed this tall man, I grabbed him and I almost wrestled him to the ground. That was what helped me to be able to push. Just imagine if I had no one there. Well, it was in the West, it was in Germany, they would have devised another means. But just having him alone,
would have been difficult.
it calmed me and gave me this, this strength to do what I needed to do. So, dear men, if you're watching this program, ask questions. You can actually be in the labor room with your wife if you show the necessary interest that you're supposed to show. It is your baby. You don't have to go and use that time to eat isewu. It doesn't make sense to me that somebody's wife will be in the labor room and he has gone to eat isewu. Some people are defending this kind of action, but it doesn't make sense. Child delivery is a very dangerous moment. Like, you need to be there as a fully present 100%. If they don't allow you into the labor room, stay around, be at alert. If you need to go home to get something, get what you need to get, then come back. These are the little things that even God is watching. When you are, your mind, the way you act towards your wife in situations like that, God is watching. So let's do better. African men, we can actually do better. Some people will just abandon their wife in the hospital. The woman has gone through cesarean section. They don't care. The man might not even show face in 2 or 3 days. We've heard a lot of stories. This is not supposed to be so. So let's go to the next question because of our time. Yes. Some of our guests are having some questions here. Okay, let me paste this one from other creations from the person under the listing. She said that the privacy of other is the reason why men are not allowed. The structure is the problem. Okay, I get that. She posted something earlier. Let me put that. What do we do to women who rely on traditional birth attendants? I have seen cases of women who prefer to give birth at home. I know a woman who died after childbirth. I know another who gave birth to twins at home, and she's fine. Many will tell you they prefer to do it at Alagbo. We did a community diagnosis some time ago, and we found out that many Yoruba prefers traditional birth attendant. Sister Debbie, what can you say about this, please?
I have to say that the problem, it's a cultural problem and it's a menace. And it's one of the reasons that we have not gotten anywhere in reducing our maternal mortality rate. It's a big deal. And the only way is through education.
Okay.
Because people have autonomy, personal autonomy. You can make decisions for yourself as an adult. Nobody can force you by law not to go to where you want to go. So people still many people still decide to go to traditional birth attendant, even though they know the risk involved. They still, and sometimes there are so many religious settings that also make very false prophecies and they tell a woman, if you go to the hospital, you will die.
You die.
So come to church mission, and some of
And
those
deliver.
missions, they do not have trained midwives.
Training.
They don't have trained. They do not have the facility. If anything goes wrong, they cannot handle it. So there are so many cultural, religious perspectives that have held many women back from going to the hospitals. And sometimes some of the bad stories that they hear about the hospitals also hold them back. Oh, if you go to the hospital, the nurses will treat you rashly. They will treat you. Yeah, they'll be abusive. They will do this. They will do that.
Yeah.
Many of them, they did not experience it. They only heard those stories, many of which are false. So what has the government done? I know the Nigerian government has really tried very hard to look at the traditional birth attendants, that system, and see how they can bring them on board. What they usually do is to talk to them, gather them, educate them and teach them the risk and the complications that are involved in childbirth, such that even when they have clients who insist on birthing with them, they still know when to refer to the hospitals. They know which cases not to take. They know who to call if something goes wrong. They know how they know that they're not expected to manipulate. They give them a specific scope of practice, which is minimum, such that we are able to reduce the risk of life that is involved. But I have to say, the question is very correct. It's just as it is. There are many women that insist on giving birth in TBAs, even though they know the risks involved.
Thank you very much for answering that question. See, so let's go to the next question because of our time. How can African men be more emotionally involved in the pregnancy up to the childbirth and raising of their children? Do you think we women excuse men a lot in this regard?
Absolutely. Because we were culturally raised to believe that the men don't have to do much. Even the men that are doing much, we still label them.
We label them.
We label them. The men that are doing much, we label them. How can they get involved in every way possible? Try and imagine the pain. If the highest form of pain is 45 dells and childbirth pain is 57 dells, imagine when you hit your leg on a stone, imagine, and you scream, yay, imagine what childbirth would be like. It will help you to be empathetic. It will help you to be empathetic. You have to be involved as a man. Fatherhood is about participation. It's not seed sowing. It's not just it's, just understand that the only thing you cannot do is that you cannot be pregnant, you cannot push the baby out, and you cannot breastfeed. Any other thing you can do. Any other thing you can do. You have to start from antenatal care. Attend every visit. If you have to take excuse from work, take excuse from work. Support. Read about pregnancy. Ignorance is not an excuse. Read about labor. Read about childbirth, and ensure that you provide the necessary things for your wife. My first, second, and third babies, my husband would go to the market to buy. We buy baby things together. We went together all the 3 times to buy everything that we needed. My second baby was there from the beginning to the end. My third, it was there from the beginning to the end. Be available. Be supportive in pregnancy. Don't call your wife names. Don't you are now big. You look like Yokozuna. You look like Bazooka.
Somebody once said that his wife looks like a monster. Those are the kind of words they use in describing women when they are pregnant.
Don't call them names. Be supportive. Whatever she cannot do and she asks you to do, make sure you do those things with the right attitude. Don't be grumpy and be murmuring and be complaining all over the place. Are you the first person to get pregnant? Will you be the only woman? Are you pregnant? Is your pregnancy on the legs or is it on the hands? And use all of those things. Don't do that. Don't make fun of the body changes. Be present. You can do all of that. Hold her hands, rub her hands, kiss her forehead, touch her hair, and keep touching and make sure that she knows that she's not alone in that journey. It is very important. Be hands-on with the baby. When I gave birth to my first baby, second baby, third, okay, the first and the second, it was my husband that gave them the first birth.
Okay.
When people will say men cannot handle babies, there is nothing to it.
Nothing.
You don't need any. You don't need your genitals to be able to take those things. My husband gave the first birth to my first and my second. It was my third that my mom gave her first birth to. Bathe your babies, bathe them. Allow your wife to rest. Bathe them, dress for them, change their diapers, feed them. If they are not on breastfeeding, if they are allowed to take complementary feed, feed them, do all of that. Culture has allowed for minimal participation, but set the bar by yourself.
Set the bar, be supportive. Yeah, yeah.
But whatever you sow, you will reap. In old age, when those things starts to come back, who will you complain to? Nobody will listen to you, because these kids they know when you care, they know when you don't care, and it will tell.
Thank you very much, Sister Debbie. Because I normally see some of these men at their old age, alone. Mommy has gone to be with one of her children who has given birth, and mommy is not even interested in coming home to daddy. Let him stay there because of the seeds that the men have sown when they were younger. So this is the time that you can secure your future as a man. Be hands-on. Forget about this society, these wicked people that don't want you to reap what you have labored for. Forget about them, because when the chicken comes home to roost, they are still going to be the same people that are going to mock you. Absolutely. They're going to tell you that your children don't care about you. They're going to say nasty things about you. So be intentional as a father. Be present. Be supportive. Women also are not created to undo a newborn. I remember that when we took our son to the hospital for circumcision, and he was just crying non-stop. I didn't know what to do with him. At that time, he was just a week old. I didn't know what to do with it. It was my husband that grabbed the baby from the buggy and just had to, pet him so that he could stop crying. Because at that time, my mental health and everything was not even all right. So I didn't understand what I was even going to do at that particular time. We are all learning on the job. Women learn how to be mothers from being dedicated, from being hands-on. You understand? We learn this thing. We weren't born with it.
Born with it. No.
This idea that men don't know how to handle babies, they should be left alone. All they have to do is to just provide. No, that's balderdash. I'm sorry to use that statement, but it's balderdash. We should not encourage that. A man that really wants to enjoy his marriage, you need to be fully present. Don't begin to call your wife a monster, because maybe when you married her, she was fair. Then when she got pregnant, she became dark. Then you begin to resent. Some men actually resent their pregnant wives. I can't understand it. Why would you resent someone that is about to give birth to your own seed?
Because of stretch marks.
Because of stretch marks. These things are natural. And it's part of the process.
It is.
Stop labeling women. Stop labeling your wife for being pregnant. It's a normal thing. People are out there that they are searching for children. There are men like you that will do anything to have their wives pregnant. So here you are as a man, you have your wife pregnant, then you begin to label her, you begin to resent her, you begin to overload her with extra burdens because of the resentment and anger that some men have towards their wife. Perhaps she's not sexually active as she was when she wasn't pregnant. They begin to overburden these women, and they become extremely abusive. You hear men beating a pregnant woman. I don't understand this.
There are men who beat pregnant women. There are men who beat their wives who just delivered, who just had CS, who just, And I know I have someone that's close to me, and one of the things that her husband had against her, because the marriage is no more. One of the things he had against her was because she was birthing through CS. And this person is short-statured, so she doesn't have an adequate pelvis. So she birthed through CS, and it was because her first delivery almost cost her life. So she has to go through emergency, and subsequently she had to go through CS. And her husband would tell her that in their family, in their village, women birth through the vagina, not through CS. Why should she be the only woman in her family? Why should she be the only wife in her family going through CS? Why does he have to spend extra money because she cannot deliver through the vagina? You cannot imagine the trauma that this person went through.
Oh my God. When you label a woman for something that is medical, you begin to label her as if it was a fault. That is extremely demonic. I can't even put it.
Demonic.
It's demonic. Because why would you label someone for birthing through? Of course, I've heard about this before, that some men actually begrudge their wives for giving birth through cesarean. It doesn't make sense to me.
As health workers, we see the attitude when we call them and say, "Oh, your wife has to go through CS. This is. We see, is there nothing you can do about it? Can't you try something else? Have you tried everything?"
Just imagine
the attitude when they have to run around to do the necessary things. It is.
Yeah. So Pastor Vera says that be intentional as a father. Yes, ma, it's very important. You need to be intentional as a father. You need to connect. You need to be hands-on. And Sister Ma Tomike said that express your love It's very manly to show affection, not a weakness. I think that's one of the ways that some of these men, those are some of the ways that they miss it. Some people are even afraid to show love when their extended families are around. They don't want to take care of their pregnant wives. They begin to belabor the woman, a pregnant woman, they begin to belabor her in the presence of their extended family so that they can prove to them that they are in charge.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yes.
That's, as an extended family, it is even expected of you to call such an attitude to order and put a stop to it. The society, we need to stop, propelling, engineering these men to act in ways that are dangerous to their wives.
Yes.
A man is supposed to be a succor for his wife, not a danger. We need to stop this kind of practice and this kind of culture. So Pastor Vera said that, please, men, stop beating our pregnant women and God will bless you. Amen. Thank you, ma. Yes, ma. What's Sister Anna saying? Oh, no problem. It's fine. Thank you for joining us. So let's go to the last, I think second to the last question before we round up the show because of our time. What do you have to say to women and men who downplay childbirth and make it look like a normal thing? What do you have to say to them, sis?
Like you said before, we need to get rid of every aspect of our culture that is redundant and dangerous. And many aspects are like that, including this childbirth experience. You know, I have to tell women, don't repress your pain. Be vocal about it. If you repress your pain, it's a great danger for your mental health.
It's going to come back to bite you in the ass.
It will. It will. Because the pain is there. If you have not resolved it, if you are not being vocal about it, if you are not seeking help, if you are not seeking, if you are not getting help and seeking succor, it's going to be there, repressed, and it's going to manifest in other ways, in the ways you resent others, in the way you are less empathetic of others,
your
in
relationship,
your relationships, in the way you treat that child.
Because when you raise your children.
Yes.
Go on.
So be vocal about that pain. Don't allow society to label you as lazy. When a woman gives birth in our society, it's all about proving that I'm strong. She's very strong. You are really strong. Kudos to you. You didn't give birth in Nigeria, sis. Because everybody that walks in, they want to assess your level of strength. How is she faring? Don't be lazy. Pick yourself up. We have all been there. Don't relax and leave your body like. Pick yourself up. So they put you under so much pressure. Pressure to start all your activities and act as if what you went through was nothing. Don't fall for it. Take your time to heal. Take your time to heal from that experience. It was a whole lot. Don't allow anybody to tell you otherwise. It was so much for your body. It was so much for you emotionally and psychologically and mentally. Allow yourself to go through the process of healing, that gradual process of healing. Allow yourself to go through it. Society members we should start being empathetic. But the fact that they did that to us does not mean we have to keep doing it to others. When you see a woman that just gave birth, don't tell her that pick yourself up, feed your baby. During my time, I went to the market straight from the labor ward. Immediately I stood up from the labor ward, I went to climb the mountain. All of those stories just to tell the other women, just comparing one self to another self. Exactly. To intimidate that person and tell that person that they are not doing enough or they are below standard. The standard is that when you give birth, you jump up and you call the man and say, come and carry your baby. I'm done.
Super women, strong women,
You understand? We as society members, we have to be empathetic, we have to be supportive, watch out for signs of depression. Postpartum depression is very common, but we don't even know how common it is because we do not even factor it in. We don't even care about it, about the emotional state of that woman after giving birth. Nobody checks how she's doing. Nobody asks her, do you want to talk about it? Nobody asks her, how are you feeling? How do you really feel at this moment? Do you want to cry? If you want to be crying, I'll just hug you and stay here with you. I will not, you don't have, just let it out. Nobody cares about all of that. They want the activities to resume, all the hustling and the bustling. So let's continue to be empathetic with them. Let's be supportive. Let's take those activities from their hands. Allow them to rest. Please, I'm begging us. When you see a new mother around you, that new mother she's just assume that she's not feeling well because it is what it is. It is what it is. She needs to recuperate from the experience of childbirth. Allow her to rest. Ask her what you want, what she wants you to do for her, and do so with joy. Let her know that she has people around her that's giving her the support that she needs.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sister Debbie. In order to add to what you have just said, don't come into a new mom's home and start to expect her to take care of you. You're supposed to come there as a support. At least, if you're going to, there's not, it depends on the time you're spending. Just understand that you're going there to work,
Yes.
support her, to be there for her. Don't expect someone that's just giving back to a child to be the one taking good care of you. This is part of the culture that we have in our society that has breed a lot of bitter women. We need to be empathetic. When a woman has just given birth, she needs all the care that she can get. And if you know that you are not going to give her that care, then don't come into her surroundings. Let her manage her life with her husband. That will be less trouble for her to handle. After all, she's her husband, she can let out an outburst. She can react however she wants to react. But don't come as a third party to come and belabor her or to give her an extra job because you want her to prove her wifelyhood or whatever we call it to you. These are part of the things that we do that damages our women's mental health. We need to put a stop to it. We need to be loving. We need to be empathetic. Don't tell her that, Kara, Yoruba to say she's pretending. She's not pretending. Just assume, even if she looks fine, assume that she's not fine. Like Nurse Debbie just said. Assume that she's not fine and that she needs all the support and all the care that she can get from you. So that is it. So our last question is, so thank you so much, sis. One last one. What improvement do you wish to see in our healthcare system in Nigeria as compared to what we have in developed countries when it comes to mother and child care?
Okay. The first thing will be that the government must make it compulsory for people to go through prenatal education. They have to find a way to inculcate it in the school curriculum or whatever. People need to get prepared for the childbirth experience. People need to understand that it is not a norm or something that is compulsory. It is something you must be intentional about. It is a decision that you must plan. 50% of pregnancies are unplanned. And that tells a lot. 50% tells a lot about why we go through the things that we go through in pregnancy, in childbirth, and even in parenting. Because many people are not even prepared to have that child. So prenatal education must be made to be compulsory for everyone. Maybe going through premarital counseling, through the school curriculum. We have to chip it in and allow people to know what it is like, what they should expect from the childbirth experience. Number two will be build the hospital facilities to be suitable for pregnant women to have adequate support during labor. In the West, in the US, in Canada, 2 people, I went to the hospital a few days ago, I saw it on the wall. 2 people are allowed in for the labor ward. 2 people, you're allowed in. It is in Nigeria.
Aside the woman, right?
Aside the woman, 2 support systems, 2 people to support. So build the hospital facilities, build the labor wards in a way that they can have their support system in place while going through that experience. They need them. It is compulsory to have those support systems in place. Another thing is that give women a upper hand when the men refuse to participate actively. Put it into laws that any man that does not participate actively through the pregnancy and childbirth period, the woman has a right to give her name to that child. You need to make them sit up. You talked about your experience in Germany, that the doctor will say, where is your husband? If every health professional keeps asking the woman, where is your husband? Is he outside? Is he waiting? Can he come inside? Can we talk together? Can we do this consultation together? The men will start coming. She will get home and tell her husband, the doctor asked after you today. Let us put it into laws. Let it become a part of our practice to make men
and let there be consequence. Things are working in the West because there are consequences. Let there be consequence. Exactly. Please go on.
I also am very happy that some states in Nigeria have started giving paid paternity leave to fathers. It is very important. Every state in the country should do that. They should make sure that parents, fathers are available and work is not an excuse for them to be unavailable. It is compulsory that they are available. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Sister Debbie. This is extremely educative. Let us put some of the questions on the screen in order to appreciate our viewers. Pastor Vera said that we have to be supportive to prevent depression during pregnancy. Yes, ma. A lot of women fall into depression because of the kinds of husbands that they have, or the kinds of people that are in their lives when they are pregnant or when they just deliver their baby. So we have to be supportive. Support is very crucial when a woman is pregnant or when she just has a child.
Yes.
She also said that do not come to a new mom's home and be expecting her to start cooking or serving you. Please go there with a mindset of being supportive. Exactly, ma. Go there with a mindset of being supportive. Go there with a mindset of being hands on ground. Don't sit down, cross your legs, and expect a new mom to be said. A lady was sharing with me sometimes on social media of when she went through from a sister-in-law when she just gave birth to a baby. A new mom that just had a maybe 1 week old baby, having to go to the market, having to cook from time to time, and having to be reported consistently by the same sister-in-law to the other members of the extended family. She was psychologically damaged for that season. And when she was sharing her story with me, you could still feel the emotions. And this was even maybe after 8 or 7 years. She still had that emotion from that terrible and traumatic experience. So we really need to do better. We really need to do better. If you know that you cannot cope seeing a woman, a new mom, being slow or being down or trying to recuperate, then don't come into her home. You stay away when she's agile and when she's able to manage you, then you can come around to pay her a visit. Amarachi said that bullying is one bad act some of us exhibit unintentionally. I urge everyone to stop this. Exactly. A lot of people are bullies, and they bully a new mom, they bully a pregnant woman. We need to stop the act of bullying. Bullying is ungodly and it's not isn't inhumane.
Amen.
Yeah. Inhumane, exactly. What as Pastor Vera said again, mother and child issues should have counseling section. Exactly. Counseling is extremely important in order to talk about whatever it is that the woman might be feeling, postnatal depression, baby blues, in order to address all this. She also said that let's put into law for our men to come to the hospital with their wives. Exactly. Don't just say that, hey, go there, it's your duty. It's the duty of a woman to birth a child. Go and sort it out alone. Your own is just to put the baby into her, then go and sit down in one corner, then wait for them to call you that come and carry your child. That's not ideal. That's not godly. And that kind of practice should not be encouraged by anyone. Thank you very, very much, Sister Debbie. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to have you here. I have learned a lot, and I know that our viewers have also learned a lot from you. You're so brilliant, so intelligent, so beautiful, and you've opened my eyes to a lot of things that I've been thinking about when it concerning the Nigerian system, especially that part where men have to peep through the window. I actually thought that was the policy and that there was nothing that could change that practice. And I'm so happy to find out that men should ask questions if they want to be in the labor room, if they want to pay extra money in order to be able to have some privacy with their wives. They should ask questions. They should be involved. They should connect. So thank you so much, sis. So nice to have you. Thank you. My regards to your husband and my love to your children. Have a beautiful week and God bless you. Thank you so
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you for honoring the invitation. I'm so grateful. Have a blessed week. God bless you. Bye-bye. Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to our guest once again, Sister Debbie Adara. Just giving us a lot of eye-opening and educative moments from this program today, and I've learned a lot, and I hope that you have also learned, unlearned, and relearned a lot of new things when it comes to understanding the psychology of childbirth for women and men. My name is Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arojudu, the creative director of Other Creations, a publishing, design, and brand development company, and I'm so happy to have you join us on this program this evening. Please help us share with people after the program comes to an end. Share with your friends. Let them learn from some of the things that we have learned together on this program today. Not to waste our time further, I'll be drawing the curtain on the program right now. Have a beautiful week and God bless you. Thank you for joining us, Matomike. Thank you, Pastor Vera. Amarati, thank you for moderating appropriately. Yes, Sayetude, thank you for sharing your experiences. I learned a lot from them. God bless you. Have a fantastic week ahead. All right, I'm going to be playing some adverts now before the show comes to an end. Finally.
DJ play that happy music, yeah. Make them play that happy music, yeah. Make the baby happy music, yeah. Make the people sing along. From my head down to my toes. Oh yeah. My mama said he really must to cash you. He threw love and if you say something done they happen.
Sister Debbie, I know you can see me from the back end. I feel like bringing you back on, but bye-bye. We have to draw the curtain now. God bless you, and thank you so much. My regards to the children. I know that I saw them at the point before we started. My love to them, and have a lovely and blissful week.